We went live over here on YouTube, friends. We are going live tonight on the YouTube. Hey. YouTube, y'all don't even know what I'm doing. My name's Tommy Davidson. I go by hashtag GTT or GoodTimeTommy. And if you have found your way onto this, first off, I want to thank you for coming on here every Thursday night. I'm telling my story. I call the show Straight from the Gut. I'm 44 years old, and if I could go back and tell myself what I needed to know at 30 years old, this is what I would be telling myself. For so long, I really underperformed my potential, and about 7 or 8 years ago, I got sick of underperforming it. I decided to make a change in my life. Unfortunately, when you make those changes, it does not happen overnight. So 4 or 5 years into it, I started seeing success. So I like to help people. I feel like my purpose is to give back and help other people maybe skip what I had to endure, what I had to learn. So I'm about to do a Facebook Live. I'm doing it on here as well. So it's just about time to go live. So I'm going live a little bit early tonight because of how often we have this problem with my internet here at home. So YouTubers, I don't know if anybody's going to get on here and ask questions tonight. But if they do, I'll answer anything you got. Very transparent. Hey, Joey Petty, I saw you on the Grant Cardone stream, my man. Kathleen.
You look awful clear.
Kathleen, I am trying to do my stream over there on YouTube as well. Hey, Brad Elam. Hey, you're here. You're here with me. Kathleen, do you like when I do this right here? We're about to get started. I got started a little bit early because I'm always terrified that my internet won't work. And I get so frustrated when I'm sitting here and I'm freaked out that it's not working. So I started a little early. It sounds like there is a lot of weekend. What does that mean? Wind. Maybe I'm breathing hard. I don't know. But I don't know how it sounds like there's a lot of wind. But sorry. I hope it. I've got the door open. I've got Lucky walking around here. I've got my girlfriend. She's over here blowing in my face. Maybe that's what the wind is. So my girlfriend, Brittany Renee Brandon, is in here. She is here with me. It's working great. Thanks, Garrett. Thanks for getting on here, man. Blake, thank you for joining. We're about to get started, everybody. Rain. No, it's pretty. It's gorgeous right now. There's a fire going out there. So, hey, let me, everybody that's getting on here, it's really important to me that you like it. Maybe you don't like it. I want to know. Please comment. I would appreciate any comment that you have. I'm looking for engagement. I would also love it if you would share the stream. The purpose of the show is I'm telling my story. I'm 44 years old. My birthday was on Monday. I just turned 44. I'm a brand new 44, but at 36 years old, I got tired of doing things the wrong way. I greatly underperformed my potential. If I was a quarterback, if I was a first-round draft pick, I was playing more like I was a backup quarterback. So, hey, Dominic, Ben, Jenny, Gail, thank y'all for getting on here. So, what I'm asking, please share the stream. Hey, Lucky, one of my best buddies, Scott Nagy, is staying the week with us. He just walked in. So, Scott, I made you a nice water for you to sip on. But the purpose of this show is to help people understand what I went through, and maybe I can teach you something where you don't have to go through. Hey, if you want to go outside.
Hey, welcome home.
Hey, if you want to go outside and sit on the back porch, I've got a fire and the game on. So unless you want to sit in here and play with us. Old school Seagull, man. That's right. That's exactly right, Ben. So, hey, we're going to go ahead and get started. Tonight, a lot of people may not know this about me, but I think one of the most endearing qualities about me is my relationships. And I don't know if any of my buddies are on here or not, but one of the things I take the most pride in is being a great friend. That's kind of unique or ironic because I'm a selfish only child. I like for things to be the way that's right, Blake. Hey, Brandon Lawson. Thank you, buddy. So growing up, my father died at an early age, and it was just me and my mom. And because of that, there was some weaknesses I'm sure I developed as an only child that was raised by a mama. But there was also some strengths, and my mom was just a natural relationship builder. And throughout my life, that's kind of what I would cling to. Scotty, what are you doing over here, fella? I got Scott
He has to be
Nagy.
in the studio audience.
He's in the studio audience. Scott is one of my best buddies who lets me go stay at his house in Florida.
You did, apparently. Hi, buddy.
Coach or jug? Ben Dotson, that's a great question. The John Jones is, hey, Sean, thank you for coming to my party the other night. We're coming to the alley on Main, of course, soon. John Jones would have to be one of the most influential, but unfortunately, for so long, I was not ready. Have you ever heard that saying that the teacher will appear when the student is ready? And John probably feels like he wasted 7 or 8 years on the underperforming Tommy. So Michael came into my life when I was hungry for more, and I was ready, but I couldn't do it without either one of them. So Brandon Lawson, I am ready for you to come hang out. We've got a room right here. We've got a dog as well. Hey, your wife is on here. I hope she's doing well. But I want to talk about the qualities I feel like that make me a good friend, and you can internalize this. Everybody's got their own little ingredients that make them a good friend. And Scott is here; he can probably tell me if that's bullshit or not. I apologize for the language; it will slip out from time to time. But number one, this is something I think this goes back to my childhood because of I did not have a father figure. I was learning all this from my mom, but I have always depended upon other people in my life to fill voids in from my family. So come on in here, weirdo. You can come on in here, kid. We're not going to put you on here. So I have always been interested and engaged in my friend's life. So I want to know what's going on with them. I'm going to ask questions, but my buddies will get tired of hearing from me. Like Scott, he could probably go months without talking to me, but I'm the type of person, I'm going to call very frequently. I'm probably not going to stay on the phone a long time, but I'm going to call and stay in touch with my friends very frequent. I don't like the connection to be broken. Hey, are you paying attention?
I am.
When you're sitting in here, Brittany
am.
Renee, you've got to ask me
110%.
questions. Have you listened to anything I've said?
Totally. I have ADD. There's a lot of distractions going on. I can't help it. I'm sorry.
Well, fire a question at me.
I'm invested, though. 100.
I want you to fire a question at me. Tisha Davis, thank you for joining. Kimberly Lawson. Everybody, when you share this stream, I'll go back with Kathleen tomorrow. One person that shared the stream will be chosen, and they get a gift card to the Alley on Main, my favorite restaurant.
I have a question.
What is your
we're
question?
On number one, where you're talking about how you have a genuine interest in their life, right?
Yep.
So what ways do you do that? What do you do to create that?
Well, it's nothing that I think
friendship?
about. It's just I've got intrigued. I just want to know. And I want them to know. I feel like it's important that they know that I'm thinking about them. I may not ever say, hey, I just want you to know I'm thinking about you. But I feel like I've got a certain instinct, a certain awareness.
Is it when you're already having conversations? Or do you go
No,
out and
it's
do, like,
it's
a
more
text call?
it's really more about the frequency. I would say that how often I'm trying to stay connected. Would you say that's true, Scotty?
A constant connection and
Yeah.
interest.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, I have an interest in those people because I believe so many things go back to your childhood. And when my dad died when I was very young, there was a lot of voids that created for me going from he was sick when I was early in my life, like 10 years old, and he died when I was 15. I needed things from my friends who helped me go from a kid to a boy to an adolescent, then try to mature into a man. Do I have some questions over there? Settle down, Tommy.
Oh, goodness.
Well, Ben, I'm trying to clear up what Good Time Tommy means. I want the people out there to understand that Good Time Tommy is not that I'm out here a party boy. Good Time Tommy to me represents a transformation of when I went from mediocre Tommy to what I was already supposed to do, what I was already chosen to do. That was where Good Time Tommy came from. But I just didn't. Whenever I was mediocre Tommy, there was a lot of things I wanted to be. I just, for some reason, didn't get there until I created this image of Good Time Tommy. And it was kind of, for me, like Superman putting his little cape on. And you may not understand that, but it helped me get more confidence about what I was wanting to do. So Good Time Tommy is not tiptoeing around the question. I am settled down, Ben. When is the ring? Well, me and her do talk about that. She don't like my answer. I don't like her reaction. But one of these days, we will get married. Right? Hello? She's in here, by the way, Ben. Thanks for asking that question. We've actually talked about a little Tommy. If I have a little Tommy, I'll deal with it, and I'll be the best big Tommy. I'll be a great father if that happens. But I mean, if it happens, it happens, and I'll be ready. Yeah, let's get back on track. Ben Dodson, quit asking these crazy questions.
Hey, we're talking about relationships, but not intimate relationships.
We're talking about your friendship, how to become a better friend. So I believe the way I try to stay connected, I'm probably more connected to my friends than they are to me. Would you agree?
I think you're a great champion of your friends.
What does that mean? Scott Nagy said I'm a great champion of my friends. I hope this is not an insult right here in front of. What does that mean?
No, that means you champion your friends. You take what they have unique to them, and you
like Rocky's coach.
Push it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a Rocky's coach to everybody.
Oh, I still don't understand what you're saying.
That movie was on today.
There's only a little bit of single barrel Jack Daniels in that drink. It's not very much. I promise you that. Lisa Progar, thank you for getting on here. Well, I'm trying to understand what you're saying, because here's the kind of friend I am. And I'm like this with my friends. I'm like this with the people, with Katrina, maybe even Lisa. Please share it, folks. Please share my stream out. GTT was the first to become a better friend. And what are the few things a person can do to keep up with his friends? I think you've got to have a genuine interest in them first. It's kind of like, in this analogy, may or may not make sense. I just created a fire. I can make the best fire. But the only way I'm going to put or have a great fire is I've got to put the wood in there first. The heat won't just appear. I've got to put more into that fire before I can have that heat. Or look at it. Does that not make sense?
I like that analogy.
Do you?
Yeah.
So I'm throwing that analogy out there. So I feel like you've got to have more of a genuine interest in them. And you can't worry if they're being a better friend back. Whenever, like Scott's here right now, Scott is a guy that I really, really look up to because of how smart he is and the things that he's accomplished. But I also know he don't like when people bother him. So whenever I'm reaching out to him and he blows me off and he doesn't call me back for a while, I just accept that. I don't take it personal.
You accept he's a terrible friend.
I accept that Scott's not near as good of a friend as I am. So I don't take it personal whenever my friends do not reciprocate. I don't look at it like that. So that's I'm going to move along right here to number 2.
Can I chime in?
Of course you can.
Okay,
I can't do
because
that.
I think we're human. We all like talking about ourselves. We like to focus to be on us. But if we value these friendships enough, then it will come naturally for us to want to have that interest in them.
Well, what if you're just a person that does not have that awareness where you're thinking about yourself first?
Well, some people are just like that.
Well, I was fortunate enough. Now, I'm going to get... No, keep in mind, I'm not going to say that everything that I do is great, because the last thing I'm going to talk about is the weakness, because I believe a lot of your strengths are also a weakness. I'm going to get to that. So, number 2 is I was and I am always happy for their success. When my buddies are successful, when my buddy has a beach house, I feel like I've got a beach house. When my buddy sold his company, I feel like I sold the company. I didn't get any of the money, but I am in the boat with my friends, and I'm genuinely happy for their success. You know what? I don't know. Is that what that means? Like, one of my good buddies, Tim Dutton, just joined. I don't know if he can hear me, but Timmy, I hope we're hanging out tomorrow, by the way. But Tim Dutton, Big Timmy Dutton would say this, and if he can hear this, I think he would agree with this. Tim Dutton is a guy that I look up to that has taught me so much about my financial responsibility, my financial obligation, But Tim will always say that I'm probably a much more engaged friend to him than he is to me. That does not mean, as he always says, Tommy, it ain't a lack of love, but I got to keep on moving. I think he would be the first person to tell you that that's what I do. I'm a very engaged friend, back to number one. But whenever Tim Dutton, whenever he has success, whenever he builds these houses and he's doing really good, hey, Tim Dutton, whenever Tim does well, whenever Michael Burt does well, whenever Joey Richardson, whenever they're doing well, I feel like part of me is winning as well. I don't know why I feel like that. I don't think about that. I just feel like I'm connected to these people, and there's going to be a payoff for me somehow from being around these people. Do I have any questions? Am I moving along too fast? Brittany Renee, would you like to contribute?
Not right now, no.
Oh, why not? What if I needed you to bail me out right now? What if I'm stuck?
Do you need a bail out?
No, I don't need a bail out. I
got
got plenty of content. Scotty, do you have anything you'd like to add on that?
No.
We'll let you have that one.
I'm a champion of friends. I still am trying to figure out how do you articulate what.
You got it just a
I
minute
think
ago.
you did just now.
Yeah.
But you just
So I try to help people bring out the best of themselves, is what you're saying?
You identify and help
But
them
you
magnify.
celebrating their success as if it's your own. That's
Yeah, I do. And I don't know why that
they're your
is.
team.
And I could see why a lot of people would start to get annoyed or upset if they saw other people succeeding and they weren't. But for some reason, that's never been an issue with me. Tim is a great friend that I love and admire. Hey, this ain't the Tim Dutton show, Tisha. This is my show tonight.
Hey,
But
wrong
Tim
TD, wrong TD.
But Tim is a great friend. So, just I can come up with all different. I remember from childhood seeing my buddies. If they did well, I felt like we were doing it. And if it was an athlete, then it went into my buddy Will Rowland, who was a singer. You know, we were down on Broadway, and whenever he did well, I love you too, Tisha. Thank you. I've just always felt like I'm kind of part of that little family. Hey, are y'all here? My studio guests are over here petting the dog.
Your breath stinks, Lucky.
Do you not have anything you'd like to add right now?
No, baby.
This is well, we're on number 2. Number 2 is I always celebrate in their success.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go to number 3, and if you've got something or anybody else on here has something, please bring it back up. My mama's finally on here. I love you. Love you, mama. I believe that one of the strongest, me and Coach Bird have sat around for years. He's helped me define what it is that my unique abilities are. And I saved number 3. He feels like one of my strongest qualities is how I'm an advocate and I'm loyal to my people. So I'm very loyal. You hear me talk about the alley on Main quite a bit. I'm very loyal to that brand.
Yeah, somebody earlier asked if you had stock in the alley.
Somebody did ask, and I do not. But I'm an advocate for Ronnie Martin. I'm an advocate for Joey Richardson. I'm an advocate for these people. If people help me, I have an extreme sense of loyalty to give back to them. Do you have anything you got over there, Scotty?
I don't think you're saying exactly what I was saying.
What were you saying?
Well, I think that's what I'm saying about
So you
Being a
see
champion of your friends is
you're
good.
very good at
Being
making one blanket statement in short amount of words that might take me 47 minutes to spit out.
He'll be in bed tonight and finally.
But hey, my buddy Brandon Lawson on here. I'm checking on Eastern Kentucky football recruiting to see how that's going, buddy. I want to know. Katrina's on here, and here's I don't know where I could throw this in here, but I'm the type of friend, and Katrina will tell you this. Michael Bird will tell you this. If you tell me what's going on with you, I'm not the kind of friend that's just going to listen and agree with you. I'm going to challenge.
Engage.
I'm going to challenge your way of thinking because I believe there's always different sides of a story, and a good friend will make you explore everything before you make a clear decision. The friends out there, like, hey, my best friend, no offense, Scotty, Tim Dutton, Adam Wright has joined, my best friend. And me and Adam Wright have been best friends since we were 15, although we didn't talk for 1 year because he was drinking in high school and I didn't approve of it. But other than that,
As a friend, did you tell him? Did you challenge him? Like you're talking
I don't
about?
know. I may have not had that ability, but you can't just, whenever, hey, Kim, thank you for everything that you do. By the way, I appreciate all your support that you're doing for us. But I think you can't just be a friend that is an antagonist. You know, there's a difference between just being an antagonist and then knowing what to say to people and how to challenge them. You know, I know some people out there, no matter what I say, they're going to be an antagonist, contrarian. They're going to say something completely opposite. And, you know, I'm going to listen to that, but I think a good friend will challenge you, will make you look at the other side, because there's always multiple sides of the story. And as the coach says, you can't see the picture when you're inside the frame. I'm a very emotional person, and for years when I was mediocre Tommy, it was very hard to see outside of myself. I was very emotional. I was married to my thoughts. I love everything you're doing. Hey everybody, if you're getting on here, I see Katrina, you just shared you got a chance to win the gift card to the Alley on Main.
Yeah, you need to remind people.
You got to like, you got to share. I need your help. My goal for doing this show is I want 131,000 people of Murfreesboro to know who I am. And I can't do it without you. I need your help. It's hot in here. That fire.
You want to make
Or is it the whiskey?
The water, you mean?
Mm-hmm. Do we have any questions? Hey, new girl joined. Thank you, Katrina. Please like, comment, share. Please throw something at me. Challenge what I'm saying. Ask yourself, what kind of friend am I? Whenever you're in a situation, do you immediately... Here's how I've trained myself. And I don't know if I always had this gift. Whenever I'm in a situation, I'm always thinking this way. What did I do to cause this? Did I have any responsibility in this? And that responsibility does not stop, did I do something? That responsibility also includes, did I not do something? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. You're not chiming in like you're supposed to.
I was plenty in the beginning.
Okay. No, now you're not.
I was chiming in with
I'm sorry. Once you start talking, whenever I start talking, it's hard for me to shut up.
I don't know when I should interject. And then
all right. I'm asking. Maybe you can talk about your friendships. What are important to you?
What's important for me to display, or what's important for me to receive?
Well, I think it all starts with what you display, not what you receive. So all starts.
What you display is what you're going to get.
Brad, you know what? I appreciate that because I do want to help you. I do see a lot of potential. At what point does a true friend accept that the other person is unable to see clearly and allow them to work a situation and just be their support? Tony Woodall told me something one time. Hey, Shane Ray, the big kahuna. It depends on what you're trying to tell that person, Katrina. Because some of the things that probably put me in bad position is I was loyal to these friends that probably were not leading me in a position that I needed to go. So sometimes you've got to decide you can still love somebody, but you may have to love them from afar. I don't know what the friend's doing, Katrina. Hey, maybe we need to talk about that tomorrow.
I want to know.
I want to know. Who is it? Is it Lisa? Is it Lisa doing something I need to know about?
Is it Kathleen? Where is Kathleen?
I don't know where she is. She might be running right now. Shane Ray, I'm great, buddy. Thank you for getting on here. And hey, I got to hold on. I'm sorry. Let me give a plug before. Okay, write it down. Hey, right now it's that time of year where your AC is about to start working overtime. You need to call my guy Shane Ray if you need a tune-up or a check-up. I don't know if he's still doing his $59 service, but you need to do that. It's me, GT. I feel like we leave you. Hey, we do. Hey, you know what, Brandon Lawson? I haven't seen you in a while, but if you were here, I would feel like we just pick up and talk about recruiting like nothing, or life or whatnot. Or my buddy Brandon Lawson, he was on, what is the helicopter called? Marine One. He was on Marine One for a year. Do you know what that means? He flies with the president. That's what my buddy Brandon did. But I don't know if that answered the question, Katrina. But go ahead. What were you going to say? I'm sorry, friend.
Okay. So seeing as how you are a very supportive and encouraging friend, are you listening to
Yep.
me?
Mm-hmm.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. What would you do if? Well, I don't know really how to word it now because I had it.
Well, just spit it out and we'll decipher it.
So you're very support. Well, you're distracted.
Well, I'm
because you're not
sorry.
really listening.
Okay, well, I mean, hey, this ain't me and you's conversation. This is all
You
of
wanted
us.
me to interject. And
I
ask
do,
a
but hey,
question.
just throw it out there. What is it? Just tell me. Just tell me. Got a lot of pressure
So
here.
what if you display supportive and encouraging behavior, but you're not receiving supportive and encouraging behavior from your friends? I thought that, I mean, it kind of can go either way because, in a sense.
I don't know. I just know that I've had a lot of my same friends for a long time. Me and Scotty have been buddies since 1999. Me and Adam Wright have been best friends since 1989. Me and my buddy Barry, I mean, my friendships.
Do you have any input for not only like your individual situation, but
Well,
situation?
you don't know what's going on with that person's life. I lost a friend about a year ago. Me and you started dating. This guy moved off, and he didn't feel like he ever heard from me. But children kiss and make up. He felt like he didn't hear from me. But I was kind of wrapped up in this new girl that I was. So I think if you're a good friend, I think you got to be patient with your buddies and just understand. Or did you do something to make them mad? Or have they just moved on from you? What if they've said, you know what, you're not going anywhere. I need to get around better people. I think you got to understand where they're going. Understand yourself as well. Nope, can't see. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say, kids?
Sure.
Does it?
Yeah.
Kinda.
I mean, yeah.
But I like my buddy here, Scott Nagy. He could go a while. I could go a week or two without hearing back from him. And I think you probably got some friends that if they don't hear back from you, they probably do get mad, don't they? But I know this is what you're doing. You just don't want to talk to anybody. I don't take it.
Some friends that I don't talk to for weeks at a time.
Yeah.
Or even months at a time. But then when we get together, we do talk or connect. We do pick up where we left off. We support. We ask. We encourage. Like it's an unbreakable bond. But there are some friendships that I feel everybody has friendships like this or has experienced something like this where you display all of this, supportive and encouraging behavior, and you're not really getting that back from some people.
Well, it depends on. Well, let me ask you this: are you asking too much of that friend? Are you being too needy of that friend? Could you be? Is it me? You talking about me?
Yeah, baby, I'm talking about you.
Hey, Candy, thank you for getting on here. Kim, I agree with you. Brandon, I get the same way. I cut my friends off for weeks at a time, leave text me unanswered. Explain. You probably get busy. I think people get busy, especially if they've got a life like yours, Brandon, where so much of your life, you know exactly what you got to do every day. I think we all get caught up in the current of the urgent, meaning we've got things we've got to get done today. There's people that probably have reached out to me. They're like, hey, that Good Time Tommy guy, he's become big time, or he thinks he's become big time. I don't ever hear back from him. There's probably people that are thinking like that. And I'm sitting here saying, I'm a great friend. I could be the biggest hypocrite. I don't think so, but I work hard at getting back with people.
There's somebody over there with your name on
There's
it.
somebody about
Get
to make a
list.
post. Hey, like Joey Holt. Me and Joey Holt, hey, he used to be one of my best buddies. Then I didn't hear from him for about a year. Right? He's on here now. He's on the road.
He's on?
But me and Joey Holt, our friendship is different because we can reconnect. And if he's been mad at me about something, or if I've been mad at him, time we just kind of come back and we connect, and we're still sitting here saying the same things to each other that we were 5 years ago. So
I just received a message, and they would like us to go back up and read a comment. And it says, not a specific situation. I just believe there are times when a person cannot see because of emotion or stress or whatever, and rather than ruin a friendship trying to force something, that you should step back and let them learn a hard lesson.
Who said this?
Katrina. She wanted us to read that because we kind of skimmed over it and it needed further.
My best friend, Christy, lives in Florida. Two of my best friends live in Florida. And they're two of my, hey, Scott probably says bad things about me whenever I'm bugging him. So what do you say back to Katrina?
Katrina just sent a message. And she said, please have him explain or go back and read the comment. So I just
God, it's
read
hard
it.
to go back, and it's hard to remember exactly what you said. I'm sorry. I get distracted. I'm wanting to read. I'm trying to... Here's one of the negatives about whenever you're a relationship person, you're also a people-pleasing person. And whenever I'm doing this, I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anybody, but I end up making somebody mad. So there's one of the bad sides about being a relationship person like I am. You try not to make anybody mad or disappoint, and you know how that turns out. Hey, you got it, Shane Ray. So tell me again what Katrina was saying. Well, I think the gist of it is allowing them to learn a hard lesson. How clear have you been with the people?
There are times when a person cannot see because of emotion or stress or whatever, and rather than ruin a friendship trying to force something, that you should take a step back and let them learn a hard lesson.
Okay, well, I feel like I've gotten to the point, and Ronnie Martin's somebody that told me this. Because I used to not like having these crucial conversations that were somewhat confrontational. But Ronnie said you owe it to the person. And that's my belief now is, hey, do I have permission from you to be honest, even though it may hurt your feelings, but I feel like I need to tell you this if I'm a good friend. I think all this goes back to how you word things, how you make them feel before you say it. If you know that I'm doing this because I care about you, you're going to perceive it differently if I'm just throwing my opinion at
We
you.
were just talking about this, weren't we? A couple days ago.
Probably, man, you talk about everything. That's what I like about you. That's what I like about having a roommate like you. So I think it all goes back to how they perceive the way you're telling them. Are you trying to show them up? Are you trying to run them down? Are you trying to embarrass them? Are you just doing it because you love them?
Increase the views. Well, I guess it wouldn't because I'm the same person.
What are you talking about?
He said, why do you have both on? And I said, to increase the views.
Yeah,
But
I
it
don't
wasn't
think
gonna-
that, but I appreciate you. I appreciate you
I'm
doing that for
trying.
me. I appreciate that. So do you have anything else you would like to add? Because I'm going to tell you, I just told you one of the things. Honesty is not being confrontational. Perception is hardly ever reality. I live by those points. Honesty is not being... You know, sometimes though, Kim, I feel like you can be confrontational if you're being honest. I mean, I can be honest with somebody. I think so much... I don't know if you guys have ever read this book called How to Win Friends and Influence People, but it's really... it makes you aware of how other people are perceiving what you're saying to them. What if you have friends that you work with? How do you approach conflicts? It is hard to have conflicts. Like me and Katrina probably get mad at each other, and we will let the conflicts go on. But at the first of the year, I decided I wasn't going to do that anymore. I think what you've got to do, Brandon, is you've got to build trust with that person. There's got to be deep levels of trust. And I'm not talking about where you feel like they're not talking about you. I hate it whenever I talk to somebody and their immediate reaction is to get defensive. I've got to trust that if I tell you this, you're not going to get defensive. You've got to establish some kind of trust there to where, hey, let's agree, we're going to talk about this, and we're not going to get defensive. We're not going to get personal, because the reason why I want it to be like this is because I want it to, it's a lot easier, it's a lot more comfortable if you can have a policy like that where you know, hey, I can just come to you and say this. She wants the best for me, period. I listen, yes. If there's only a surface relationship, you can't go that deep. Yeah, how much do the people trust you? And when I say trust, it goes a lot deeper than knowing that they're going to be there for you. Let's see what Brandon said. I'm sorry. You know my professional
Maybe.
atmosphere. We are
Same
all
time.
boys and depend on each other, but we all get fussy about each other at some point. How do you approach that? I think you got to talk about it. I think you've got to talk about things when emotions are not high. Hey, Travis, we got to get together soon, buddy. I need you. Got to talk to you. I think you've got to set these expectations and these boundaries whenever you're not in the moment of battle. Pardon the pun. But I need you to read the comments to get back to me, and I'll do better. So I think you've got to have discussions to where y'all are on the same level, and trust. And what I really, you can't get defensive. I mean, you can't get defensive. You got to take everything as we're going to get better from doing this.
Okay. Blair says you have to earn the right to have real conversations with friends. If you are uncomfortable with the delivery, you haven't earned the right to have that conversation with a friend. If you've earned the right, it's an easier chat.
What if you're just not very good at the delivery? What if you, in your heart, I'm just not good at getting this stuff out?
Whatever you do, don't communicate it through text.
Is that what Blair said?
No, I said that.
Okay.
Because everything can get missed.
Or email. It can be taken so many
Yeah.
different ways, but...
Coach just joined.
The super coach, he's, hey, I've been talking about you, super coach. I think if you can't articulate, you can't be a wordsmith. I think you've got to tell them how much you care about them. I've got to drop your guard. I've got to get you in a position to where you're not going to get defensive or argumentative. You're going to take what I'm saying and we're going to talk it out.
So basically get them drunk first.
Well, I wouldn't say that because they could backfire on you.
I mean, it's a joke. Keeping it fun, light.
So I'm going to move along. See, Coach, what I'm talking about tonight, one of the things you think is my strong point is my relationships. Hey, Rod Key, like I'm a big Rod Key advocate. I train with him. He's my guy. So what are some of the things, what I've talked about, I don't want this to sound like it's completely all 100% positive. Because with this, there are some negatives that I get. And I think the biggest negative that I can say about this is for so long, I think I put my success second. I was more happy to see my buddy Scott Nagy move to the beach. I was more happy to see my friends do well than I was. I gave myself permission to be lazy. You know, I was supporting them and they were doing good and that made me feel good about me. But it didn't help my inner drive. It probably made me somewhat lazy. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Does it? Mm-hmm. You have something you'd like to say?
Mm-mm.
Why not? Hey, can I trust that you're in this conversation?
You keep butting me out of it. Go ahead.
No, it's your turn. I've talked a lot. I'm sorry. Okay. I don't want, no. See, you can't get defensive if you don't get to talk.
I'm good.
What would you like, Scott, what would you like to add to this?
He's over there learning science.
What are you over there? Are you in the science
fourth grade
book?
Science book.
In the fourth? Oh, I thought he might be in something. Do we have any questions? I haven't been able to keep up. Ann, thank you for joining, friend. Do you have any questions that I've talked about? Good friends lose judgment and become vulnerable.
That's a good one.
All right, I didn't talk enough about that. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm a very vulnerable person, I feel like. I don't mind telling you what my weaknesses are. And whenever me and Brittany Renee, if we're having a fight, the easiest way to bring her...
We don't fight, baby.
We don't fight.
We're
perfect.
That's what it's called.
Whatever you want to call it.
But disagreement.
When we disagree, here's a little nugget I want everybody to take away, okay? There is no arguing agreement. Acknowledgement. What about my concept? You know...
What about my concept? Blue Gills versus Blue Marlins. Good friends share concepts.
I remember we were on your bachelor party, Coach, in the pool, and I remember you stood up and you said, hey, some of y'all are fishing for bluegill. I'm over here fishing for blue. I remember it clear as day when you did that. I think I've got a picture of Scott's face. He was in the pool with a little hat on when he was talking about this concept. So you're right.
Scott's in studio right now.
Hey, did you know Scott Nagy's in studio right now, Coach? Did you know that? He is, but I think people are very drawn to vulnerable people. If I can tell you, the part of this show.
No, I would say the best is Tony Woodall out there coming up to his
That's
neck
you're
in a
probably
blanket.
right, but I don't know what was a better, if it was a better bachelor party,
Birthday party.
or a better birthday party that you had in Vegas with us. I don't know which one was better, but I do think you need to be vulnerable with your friends. You need to be. You don't need to try to. You don't need to try to hide your flaws. I think people are attracted to flawed people. We're all flawed. And there's nothing wrong with that. If I come to you and if I can disarm you by showing my weakness first, you're going to open up to me, right?
Yeah.
Whenever you're mad at me or disagreeing with me, I can come to you and say, you know what? I'm sorry if I made you feel that way. That's the best way to do this. So if you can get people, if you can acknowledge what you did initially, instead of trying to defend what you did, you're probably going to be much better off in the friendship category. We've been going now almost 35 minutes or so. Is that what I'm saying? Hey, Ala, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for getting on here, man. Do we have any more questions? I feel like I've been going a while. It's hot in here because I got a fire going outside and the door is open. It's right here by me. What are you doing, Brittany Ray?
I'm texting your buddy Keith Watson back.
Defense attorney. That's a concept that you also came up with, Coach Burt. Whenever you talk to somebody and you're pointing out what you feel like they did, you're trying to have a discussion and they immediately get onto the defensive. They don't listen. They just attack back. And it's hard. So whenever you're around those kind of people, here's what you start doing. You start tiptoeing around them. You don't want to have conversations with them. You don't want to go down that. You don't care enough now. You kind of isolated yourself away from them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you listening?
I am.
Jessica Warner.
Hey,
I think we're coming over to your house this week.
Yeah, we're going to have a cookout?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
What is your fault?
I mean, I do get defensive at times.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you're talking about me over there.
Artificial harmony.
Hey.
He is, hey.
I'm admitting my faults.
You do get defensive. We all get defensive.
Would that be one of my flaws?
You don't have any flaws. You just have some things we'd like to correct around here. That's
when you said that, you look like Kenny Powers.
Kenny Powers?
The way he kind of just, his mannerisms, that was a little weird.
Christy, I'm glad you're on here. You need to tune in every Thursday night, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
But hey, you got to be vulnerable with your friends. You got to be vulnerable. You've got to be open, and they have to know that you care. And sometimes just by you show you care in different ways. Like I show him I care by leaving him the hell alone. Do you understand what I'm saying? But sometimes during the summer, I may call him too much to try to sneak down to 3085B. But sometimes friends, they how am I trying to say this? They try to work their way in so much. They don't give the other person space and let them get over things or let them process or let them do whatever it is they want to do. Brittany Renee does have some spunk. Takesha.
Hey, Takesha's on. Let's go ahead and ask her about her book. Give a plug.
Let's talk about that book, girl. I still think a great show would be with Coach Burt and Takesha talking about their relationship and kind of like a good cop, bad cop. Are you going to call him back? He's over here. Why don't you come over here right now? Hey, why don't we come out to your house tonight? He hasn't seen your house. I wanted to bring him out there. You're going out of town tomorrow. Can we come out there right now? But to go back through this, A Lady in Waiting bestseller. Is that the name of the book?
Yes.
A Lady in Waiting.
Hey, Bert.
Takesha.
Have you heard from your friend Jimmy Pitts?
Call him
or
out
has he
here.
kept you waiting?
But Takesha, hey, maybe she just got us on silent because I can't hear her. She's not talking back to us.
That
But
sounds like you should
hey,
look.
to go ahead and how long have we been doing this? 41 minutes, 40 minutes or
43.
so. Come on, Jimmy.
Come on, Jimmy.
I believe to be a good friend, you've got to put their interest and their understand them first. Hey, John Case, Line Drive Nation. Hey, are you up to 100,000 people? I can't believe how many people follow you, man. Every time I talk to somebody in the baseball, they know who you are, by the way. Hey, have we booked that place down there? Has that been booked yet?
Bert and Natalie are doing half on PayPal, and we're doing the other half on PayPal.
All right. We need to get that before.
She tried to book it online today. I'm
Okay.
gonna do it outside of that.
Bert, is your seaside retreat filled up? Can we get anybody else in there? Do we need to do another place? Hey, what time are you going to bed, Coach? We'd like to come out there and show them that house. I know the code to get in. You got to have a code to get into Coach Bert's house. There ain't many neighborhoods like that, but I know.
Both let him close to your areas. He's over there just welcome.
3 spots left. We probably need to go ahead and start filling out stuff for the spring, Coach, while things are going well. So, hey, to get back on this, what I'm talking about, you know, I've always been a relationship-driven person. With that, it does come weaknesses where you do worry too much about hurting other people's feelings, which makes it hard for you to grow. That was a hard thing for me to. That was hard for me to grow because I was so worried about leaving people behind or not including them. So every strength that you have at some part or some way can be a weakness. So, hey, do you have anything you'd like to add before we wrap this show up, Brittany Renee?
No, but I really enjoyed this topic. Because,
Do you?
Yeah.
Am I clear on what I'm trying to say? Am I clear, Scotty?
Very clear.
Or are you just saying that? Was your granny's chicken parmesan?
Yes, you just say.
He's
Was
in,
your-
like chicken parmesan.
Is your granny's chicken parmesan the best?
Yeah, it's good, man. I should brought you some. She's
Yeah.
trying to send it home with me.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Corey Jacobs.
Like-
Hey, Corey Jacobs, your best friend's
I'm doing
here.
you a favor.
Corey Jacobs, there's your best friend.
What's up, buddy?
Oh, Jacob's
I
is
saw your post where you hung out with your great friend Scott Nagy that night. There's the plug for that seaside retreat. We need to do this. Hey, what the future is going to look like of Coach Bert is we're going to start bringing people down to, hey, Scott Nagy's house. Imagine that, using our buddy. And we're going to start putting on some coaching events where my buddy Scott Nagy, he's going to give you.
The big one.
Hey, Roy Frazier, thank you for joining, friend. I'll see you tomorrow morning. But Scott, I think what Scott wants to do on these retreats is he wants to have like one-on-one time where he can talk with you. He's not going to spend all day with you, so I don't want you to think that. But Scott really excels in listening and finding a way that you don't see. He helps you create a bigger vision that you're not aware of. Hey, Jamie, you come on back to Mastering Monday, my man. So if you want to get around higher level people, which helps you think bigger, you need to come to Coach Bert's Seaside Retreat. It's this September. It's $2,500, and the best value you're going to get is probably not in the classroom. It's probably going to be when you're talking to somebody that's going to be there. Coach Bert, Scott Nagy. There's going to be other high-level people there. So when you're hanging out down there, I don't know if I'm going to be there or not.
Why not?
Well, I'm going to be there the week after. So are they. But I don't know. If I can get away, I would love to come down there. I want to talk about what I feel like my little gift is to help people. But it will be a great value. And to go off, like Coach said, to get away from where you are and get into another environment. Seaside Seagrove, Scott's place down there, it is phenomenal. It's my favorite place to go. It will make you come back. You'll think a lot different. You'll think a lot bigger. Ain't that right, Brittany Renee?
That's right.
One time, margaritas by the pool, dinners on the ocean, and whenever you do this, it's gonna be. You'll probably talk about getting better. 10 hours that day. I mean, that's probably how much. That's, hey, look, we got a lucky problem. So, hey, is there anything you need me to add, Brittany Renee?
No.
Coach Burt, we're about to come out to your house, by the way. Scott wants
He
to
said
see
there's
it.
a $25 fee.
Hey, Scott Nagy wants to come see your place.
He's probably about to go to bed.
Are you about to go to bed, Coach? I got to work out
He's
with
in the
Rod
bathroom
Key.
reading.
That's why he's giving us so much attention right now, isn't it? Hey,
He
Lucky.
said, hey, Lucky. He hates Lucky.
He does hate Lucky. Well, guys, hey, I'm about to shut this down. And if you want to become a better friend, I'm going to tell you this. Be more aware and more understanding of them first. Think about them first, and then you deal with it on your own. If you get to a point to where you feel like you're being taken advantage of, then it's your responsibility. You need to judge the people, not judge. You need to really look at the people you're hanging out with and say, hey, are these the people I want to be like? You need to make it simple. So, guys, I'm going to shut this down unless there's any other questions. But thank you for tuning in every hey, Mama, good night. Thank you for tuning in every single Thursday night. I do this from 8 to 8:45, 8:50, whenever we get off. But I appreciate you tuning in. You cut your own hair, Blake Kelly? Hey, kids, I'm signing off. Katrina, I'll see you in the morning. Thank you for tuning in. We are about to watch the rest of the Cavs game and go to bed. So, thank you, guys. See you soon. Hey, YouTubers, thank you for hanging in there. I don't know how many folks were here, but thank you so much.